Imagine building your dream, your own business, your own home, your own bank, your own future. And then, one morning, thousands of armed men arrive. By the end of the next day, your neighborhood is gone. Hundreds are dead. Thousands are homeless. And for decades, almost nobody talks about it. This wasn't a war. It wasn't a foreign invasion. It happened inside America.
Bodies dumped in rivers, bodies dumped in mass graves. It was an absolute massacre.
This was Greenwood, better known as Black Wall Street. In the early 1900s, Tulsa, Oklahoma was booming. Oil money was pouring into the city, and inside one neighborhood, something extraordinary was happening. Its name was Greenwood, at a time when segregation limited almost every opportunity for Black Americans. The people of Greenwood decided to create their own banks, their own hotels, their own movie theaters, their own schools, their own hospitals, their own restaurants, their own newspapers, their own law offices. Entire shopping streets were owned by Black entrepreneurs. Doctors treated patients. Lawyers built successful practices. Teachers educated the next generation. Money stayed inside the community. Businesses supported other businesses. Families built real wealth. By the early 1920s, Greenwood had become one of the most prosperous Black communities anywhere in the United States. People started calling it Black Wall Street. It wasn't just a nickname, it was a symbol, proof that success was possible, even in a country determined to make it difficult. But success has a strange effect on people, not just the people achieving it, the people watching it. As Greenwood became richer, resentment quietly grew. Many white residents admired its success. Others saw it very differently. Local newspapers published increasingly inflammatory stories. Rumors spread. Tension filled the city. The divide between communities became deeper every year. Nobody knew exactly when something would happen, only that the atmosphere was becoming more dangerous. Then, everything changed. On May 30th, 1921, a 19-year-old Black shoe shiner named Dick Rowland entered an elevator operated by a 17-year-old white woman named Sarah Page. What happened inside that elevator? Nobody truly knows. Some historians believe Rowland may have tripped. Others think he accidentally grabbed her arm to keep his balance. Sarah screamed. Someone called the police. The next morning, a local newspaper published a headline implying that Rowland had assaulted her. Within hours, an angry white mob gathered outside the courthouse. Many feared another lynching. Black World War I veterans arrived to protect Rowland. They had fought for their country. Now, they were trying to protect one young man from mob violence. Tensions exploded. Someone fired a shot. To this day, nobody knows who fired first. But after that, none of it could be stopped. Thousands of armed white men moved toward Greenwood. They looted businesses. They burned homes. Families ran for their lives. Some people were shot where they stood. Entire blocks disappeared in flames. Witnesses even reported airplanes flying over Greenwood. Some claimed they dropped incendiary devices. Others said shots were fired from the air. Historians still debate every detail of those reports. But there is no debate about what happened on the ground. More than 35 city blocks were destroyed. Nearly every major Black-owned business was gone. Around 10,000 people lost their homes. The official death toll remained relatively low for decades. Modern historians believe the real number of people killed may have been much higher. And then things became even more unbelievable. Insurance companies refused to pay for most of the destroyed property. The city blamed many of the victims. Some survivors were arrested, not the attackers, the survivors. No one was ever convicted for destroying Greenwood. No one. Imagine losing everything you own, your home, your business, your family, and then being told it was your fault. For decades, America barely talked about Black Wall Street. Many schools never mentioned it. History books skipped over it. Entire generations grew up without ever hearing the name Greenwood, not because it wasn't important, but because it was uncomfortable. It challenged the version of history many people preferred to remember. Only in recent years has Greenwood finally begun receiving the attention it always deserved. Yet even today, millions of people are hearing this story for the very first time. Buildings can be rebuilt, businesses can return, money can be earned again, but trust is much harder to restore. Black Wall Street wasn't destroyed because it failed. It was destroyed because it succeeded. And perhaps that is the most important part of this story. The question is, how many other stories like Greenwood have simply been forgotten?